What's going on, guys? This is Walk Talk Football, the show where we talk about everything that's on your mind. Today we are talking Premier League, we're talking some Barcelona, some Real Madrid, also some Bundesliga as well as MLS, guys, because it is playoff time, so let's walk. All right, guys, first up, let's start with, actually, it's a really good question. What is the deal with signing coaches from other countries? What do Jurgen Klopp and Jose Mourinho offer that a Brit coach couldn't? First of all, that sounds super racist of a question, but there's a number of reasons why. One, they're both very charismatic coaches. Two, your players are all international players, so you need a manager who has that experience of playing in other leagues, competing in other leagues, different styles of play, and know that he can adjust as well and be able to deliver the message to your very international squad. They're also well qualified. I mean, the Premier League is considered the best league in the world, at least from top to bottom in terms of quality and competition and how hard it is to win the league. So you need top quality managers. So if you're an owner of a team, you're probably going to look across the globe to make sure you have the right manager that's going to bring you, give you the best chance of getting results. So that's not to say that Klopp and Mourinho are better than every other UK or British manager. It's just that, you know, each team has a different style of play, different philosophy, and you have to find a manager that fits within that. And clearly they think at their clubs that these are the right guys for the job. Even though Liverpool is struggling right now, and I wish, which is kind of odd because I think that Liverpool may have let another manager go at this point, but Jurgen Klopp, he seems to have a lot under control. He seems to have the club motivated. He seems the players are motivated. They're just not getting the results. But that's a different answer for a different question. What else? Can the newly promoted team stay up? Yeah, I think so. I think right now they're all in decent positions. Newcastle, I think, will be safe because they clearly have not just the players, but they've shown the ability to get the points they need to start the season. What I'm worried about is Huddersfield and Brighton, who are both on 8 points right now. And at the bottom of the table, there's some really, really good teams. There's Swansea, Bournemouth, Everton, West Ham. They're all competing down at the bottom. Crystal Palace. So those are all teams that are very capable of getting on a little bit of a run. 3, 4, 5, 6 games in a row could move them clearly out of the bottom of the table, and it could push guys like Brighton and Huddersfield down if they don't start getting more points. Manchester City, why are they good? What makes them tick, and will their defense let them down? Well, what makes them good is a very simple recipe. They score a lot of goals. They have 35 goals scored in 10 games, and they've only given up, how many is it? 6 in 10 games. That is a recipe for success. My biggest worry, though, is will their defense let them down? The current defense, I think John Stones, Otamendi, I think they're both solid together. John Stones continues to get better and better. He's very, very good on the ball defensively. He's been strong this year. But if one of them goes down, I don't think they have necessarily the depth to hold on. But if they can continue this form, which just goes to show you, even the biggest teams in the world, no matter how much money they spend, there always seems to be an issue that could bring things crashing down in a very quick and sad way. But I think as of right now, City has been good, and if they can stay healthy, they'll continue to run at the top of the table or compete for a title this year. Is the key to Man United's season late goals? And you say it's banked on goals after the 70th minute mark to kill games off. Look, if I'm Mourinho, I'm not thinking, how can I score goals after the 70th minute? I'm thinking, how can I score goals early on? But the way that he plays is to make sure that you're defensively sound first, to make sure that you're not giving up anything in the back, and then you scrap out results. Is it the most attractive? No. Has it been efficient so far? Yeah, they're still in the title race. So I think as long as that's working, he should continue that. But if you were to ask Mourinho himself, if I'm Mourinho, I'm not thinking, how can I score late goals to win games? I'm thinking, we need to sit in our shape, sit in our blocks, and when those counterattacks come and opportunities to score come, we can finish 1 or 2 of those big chances. But it's definitely not a recipe you want to rely on if it's getting to the 70th, 80th, 90th minute of a game, hoping that you're going to score a goal. But so far it's worked, so what can I say about that? In Spain, there's people asking me about the Real Madrid loss to the Catalan club Girona, and what happens to Barca with the Catalan independence? Well, first of all, Real Madrid are in trouble right now. This is not good. They are now 8 points out of the title race, and they've never come back to win the league after being 8 or more points out of the title race. So things are not looking good for them. I think Ronaldo, his conversion rate right now of goals to shots is very, very low, which is just weird. After coming off of a Player of the Year, you would think that he would be scoring a crazy amount of goals or kind of have that motivation, but it's so hard to do that over and over again, and he's not by himself. And to be honest, Girona, they were better than Real Madrid. They played at home. They had 2 balls hit the post. They could have scored more. So all credit to Girona, but it's also kind of a sad thing for Real Madrid. Now, moving over to Barcelona, what happens with the Catalan independence? Barcelona are in the league right now. They'll be in the league for the rest of the year for sure. I can't say for sure, but I would assume it's for sure. what happens in the future is that La Liga need Barcelona. If Barcelona were to leave, La Liga would come crashing down, I think, in a lot of ways, because a lot of their financial dependence with their TV contracts and whatnot come down to Real Madrid, Barcelona. Okay, you have Atletico, you have Sevilla, you have Valencia this year, but a lot of that comes down to Barcelona and Real Madrid. They are the ones that you have selling global rights to. So I think La Liga need Barcelona. I think Barcelona also want to stay in La Liga. I think it's what's best for everyone, and I think they're trying to separate themselves. Barcelona have supported the independent movement, but they haven't publicly stated that they endorse it. So they've supported people doing what they want, and they've supported everyone, but they've kind of tried to stay out of that and make football about football and politics about politics. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in the long run. But I do think no matter what, they'll find a way to keep Barcelona within the league. Because it only makes sense, and it's best case for everyone at this point, except for maybe Gerard Piqué, who gets booed at every stadium that he plays at, both with the national team and with his club team. People don't seem to like him because of his stance of standing for Catalan independence. Borussia Dortmund in a crisis now. What's going on with Dortmund? I don't think they're in a crisis, to be honest. I think, yeah, they haven't won in their last 3 games in the league, which is sad, but that moved them from first in the league to now 3 points out of the title race behind Bayern Munich, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but it is something to be wary of. They've also struggled in Champions League, sitting 2 points right now. They're battling with Nicosia for 3rd place in the Champions League group stages. Yes, it's a very difficult group, but something's got to give, and I think a lot of that is finishing their chances. They're also a very young squad, and seem to not really, they're rotating players a lot because they're playing a lot of games, but I wouldn't say it's a crisis just yet. Now, if they drop out of 2nd place or they drop out of European positions, I would call that a crisis, but the reality is Bayern Munich are a better team than Dortmund, and Dortmund consistently perform at the highest level, and that's something they should be proud of. So when they hit a little bit of a rough patch, they're still competing for a title. I don't think it's a crisis. I think it's just the way it is for a club like that, who's structured completely different than the Bayern Munichs of the world. Who should replace Bayern as a temporary striker while Lewandowski is out with injury? Honestly, they have nobody. Bayern Munich have nobody. Yes, you have Mueller, but he's injured. Ribéry is injured. You could put James Rodriguez up there, but he's not a striker. I would say Joshua Kimmich. I mean, literally, Joshua Kimmich could play any position on that team and likely compete for a starting position. Okay, maybe not with Lewandowski as a striker, but he's proven that he is so good that you can put him anywhere and he can adapt to that position. And yeah, I get that he could be an outside back or a center midfielder, and that's very different than striker, but why not? Throw him up there. Who knows what's going to happen? You know, Lucio, who used to be the center back for Bayern Munich, was a striker for the youth teams of Brazil until he became a center back. So why not see what Kimmich could do if you put him up at striker? Maybe he'll score a bunch of goals, and then he'll be now the best striker at Bayern Munich, just like he's been in every other position that he's played for the team. Who are my top strikers in some leagues, some top leagues, and maybe a few to watch? Big names, Lukaku, Lewandowski, even though he's injured, Harry Kane, Falcao's been incredible this year, Mauro Icardi's been very, very good, and those are my big name guys. My players to watch would be Immobile, Simon Zaza, Timo Werner's been very good too. I mean, just a young striker, just so much energy, so much athleticism, so powerful when you watch him play. He's just very, very efficient and super fun to watch, so check him out if you get a chance. What else? Should MLS go to Austin? This is a bit of a difficult question to answer, because I think if you're looking at Austin, I think it's a great place to bring a team. I think the way that MLS or Columbus has handled the team in Columbus, it's not fair. I think the fans deserve better in Columbus. The way this whole thing came down is really, really bad. What I'm saying is, do I think Austin deserves an MLS team? Sure, I think it would be great. I think there's a huge fan base in Austin that could be very, very good for the league. Do I think the way that it's been handled in terms of the Columbus thing? No, I think that's been very, very bad. So I would love to see Austin have a team. I would love to see a team. I would love to be able to go to Austin and see a game. But again, my separation is I feel bad for the Columbus fans. I feel like it's pretty much a done deal that the team is going to Austin. In my opinion, I don't know enough to say that definitively, but I feel, in my opinion, there's a good chance that the team is going to Austin, and that's very sad for the Columbus fans. But on the flip side, if it was handled any differently, or if it was a new team going to Austin, I'd be really excited about that too. Again, it's just been an ugly situation that I wish could have been handled quite differently for the sake of the fans of Columbus and for the sake of the city of Columbus and everybody that supports MLS first club, MLS's first soccer-specific stadium, all that type of jazz, and an MLS champion, former MLS champion. What happened to Atlanta, and is MLS boring now? Look, I don't think MLS is boring. I think Atlanta fell off because they weren't strong enough to win an MLS Cup this year. Yeah, they had all the hype and the excitement, and they were playing at home, 70,000 people, or 67,000 in the game that they lost in the play-in game. But they weren't built to be a championship squad this year, but they were very, very exciting, and they did things that nobody expected of them, which is not build a fan base, but show their fan base, build the fan base over getting results and having a new stadium and all those types of things was world class. And I think the show must go on, though. I think there's teams that are more deserving of going to an MLS Cup right now in terms of their actual on-field performance. If you remember, at a certain point in the year, earlier in the year, Atlanta hit a little bit of a rough patch. And so that showed a little bit of their vulnerabilities. But again, they should be very, very proud. An incredible expansion year for them. And I'm excited to see what goes on. And again, I haven't even been down to Atlanta. I've only heard rumors of how sick it is down there in the atmosphere. I watch videos. Obviously, I have friends that work within the club, friends that play for the club. They've all said incredible things. So, but things got to go on. And it's not going to be boring because you have teams like Toronto FC who are extremely fun to watch and extremely efficient. Still in the playoffs, and you have New York Red Bulls, NYCFC, and then on the West you have Vancouver, Seattle. We'll see what happens with that. It was quite a boring game yesterday, but you know, c'est la vie. Who wins MLS Cup? It would be stupid to bet against Toronto FC at this point. They're so good. They were in it last year. They've gotten even better this year. They're not super fun to watch in terms of entertainment, but they are very efficient. So that works well in the playoffs when you're grinding out results, games are close together, that sort of stuff. So that's my opinion on it, but not really a hot take. It's kind of probably the predicted result that most people are saying right now. Anyways, guys, it's time for my favorite part of the show, to address you haters. Adrian Ledesma says, I hate the haters. Does that make me a hater? Do I hate myself? That depends. If you actually hate on me and then you hate the people that hate on me, then technically you would be hating on me and yourself. So yeah, something like that. Yo, Heath, I know you're still growing your hair, but it looked a bit off. Keep it clean, bro. Still a hero. See, that's the type of constructive criticism that I like from my haters. You address the problem, and then you give me a little bit of motivation to continue going on. So I appreciate that. Your video proof is that Americans don't know shit about football. Your video proof. I think you meant to say your video is proof. But whatever, we're not going to focus on your typos. Maybe that's why you think I'm an asshole, because I focus on your typos or that your grammar errors. I guess, you know, you're more than welcome to say we don't know anything about football. That's okay. I'm comfortable with that. That doesn't bother me or anybody else who's going to watch this video, because we all know that we know a lot more than you probably give us credit for. Press the dislike button the moment he gave second position to Spurs. Why? Spurs lost this weekend, by the way. They don't deserve first position. You can't have first position when you're losing. Well, even though it's, you know, prior to that, they were arguably better. But you can't put Spurs in first place if in the league that they're playing in, they're not in first place. And the team that I put in first place is actually first place in their league, which is Manchester City. But I get what you're talking about. But again, Spurs didn't win this weekend, so that's a little bit of a cause for concern if they're actually going to be part of the title race. These are the worst power rankings I've ever seen. I appreciate that. Again, the power rankings are not about who are the best teams in the world, because then you would just put the top 4 teams from one league, and then you'd have a few teams from another league, and then it would be like literally what you see is like the final 8 in Champions League. But that's not what it's about. It's about who's the best in form in their league against the competition that they're playing against. So the league, it's not about top 10, because that would be predictable and it wouldn't be fun, and we'd be excluding most of the teams that are actually in good form right now. You look like Owen Hargreaves. I think that's a compliment. I played against Owen Hargreaves once in Wembley, actually. That was a pretty exciting day, 2008, Wembley. We lost 2-0 to England, but it was a lot of fun. Owen Hargreaves, he actually, you know, here's a fun fact, you might not know this. Owen Hargreaves could have played for Canada if he wanted. Pretty wild. Anyways, guys, that's all we have for the show, but make sure you guys get down into the comments and let me know what you guys think. And until next time, comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys later.